Alright, hello everyone guys, welcome back to another video on Marvel Rivals, but today I'm going to be doing something a little bit off that I wouldn't normally do. I'm not going to teach you how to play Wolverine or give you a gameplay. I'm giving you guys a tier list. Now, I can't edit that sound effect in, but yes, I am going to be making a tier list in this video on Season 9 and a predicted tier list of Season 9.5 based on what I think is probably still going to be meta and predictions on what they're going to buff, what they're going to nerf. And Wolf, I'm thinking that he's going to be one of the lucky few who gets buffed. But yeah, enough of me talking. Let's get right into the buff notes or whatever. All right, so the way that this is going to work is I am going to rate everyone based on an overall scale of what they're probably good at in all elos, so bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, grandmaster, and even in the pro scene in Ignite. And lucky enough, Wolverine, I'm going to be a little biased here. Wolverine actually won a game at Ignite. Again, I think it was against 100 Thieves with Navi, and they were able to hold on Convoy Mountain, not Mountain, Museum on Contemplation. So, point is, I'm going to be rating everyone based on how well they are and considering their team ups. And I think I have a right to say this in having a tier list because I'm now currently at number 75 for Wolverine, so yes, I went up. And also, too, I've been consistently in Grandmaster and Celestial over the last 5 seasons now, and I do have more rivals running in the background because there's some other stuff I want to do. But yeah, other than that, though, let's get right into it. So, pretty much, Adam Warlock. So, Adam Warlock, here's the thing about Adam Warlock. I don't really see him that much, but Adam Warlock, in my opinion, he is relatively really good because with his Ultron team up, he is now a primary healer because of how much damage he can do. So if you want a DPS and you want to be a strategist and heal, go Adam Warlock because his burst potential allows him to literally one clip everyone with his right click. I'm sorry, left his primary, and then with his right click he can charge up, heal you, and then because his right click and his left click does reduction cooldowns on his E, he's able to farm and get a lot of burst healing really quickly. So I think, and especially if you have someone like Gambit, if he's not banned, Invis, or any other primary healer, you can probably make Adam work in double support while still having a 4th DPS and doing that. So in my opinion, and also considering his other team up with Storm, I think it's really good. I don't think he's S tier, but I do think he's strongly like between here, and especially in I'm probably gonna put him high B tier, low A. I think I'll put him A tier just because he has really gotten a lot better a little bit, and honestly, you can play him and you can climb him, especially in like the more like the lower and mid range elos like diamond and platinum. You can climb with that person very easily, and honestly, if you have comms too, like that's really easy to pull off. Black Panther. So Black Panther, he's S tier. I'm saying he's S tier because one, he is a permaban. His team ups, it makes him to where he's unreactable, and in many cases, you may be able to go thing, but I honestly think that yes, even if you were to do that, I feel like you can still run other dives with Black Panther. Like, for example, Iron Fist, if you use your white box team up, this man gets 40 healing per second team up with Fist. And if you have white box, that turns into a mini cloak and dagger bubble. So I just think that, and especially since how fast and how strong he is and how unreactable, and the only person you can literally use this thing, and even then he can actually, I think if you have coordination enough, he can get out. I kind of think BP earns this spot, and I honestly think he's arguably one of the best in the role. And I'll have another slot for that, and I don't know how you do that, but I will do that in a minute. But I think BP is just, in general, he is S tier just because of his team ups, how much he's been getting buffed, and honestly, he's the only person, one of the only dive characters who can actually deal with the cloak and dagger BS and all that. Widow, okay. Widow has had a major glow up. Like, she is absolutely mogging 99% of the DPS in this game, and it's honestly kind of funny. Widow, I think she is meta right now, and especially in Grandmaster and Celestial, I am seeing her played a lot more, and a little bit more from the Eternity perspective and OAA. She is played a fucking lot, and in Ignite, she was played like crazy. So I think she's really good, and I think that she is earning the Legion of S tier. And I think, honestly, considering how anti-dive she is, because she's always been a hard counter to Spider-Man, Iron Fist, especially Magic, maybe even Daredevil if you wanted to argue, or Blade. Widow counters so much of the dive roster, if not a majority. And Widow, even with her like base kit without the team ups, she still is pretty good. And with her Phoenix team up as well, which you're gonna be able to get most often than not, you're gonna be able to like 3-tap most people, and your alt is in your base kit, and your alt is your regular stuff. Like, I just think that Widow, and I think a lot of people can agree that she is S tier, and she's one of the characters that are DPS that you can actually carry potential, if that makes sense. She has a lot of carry potential, and just in general, she has a lot of utility in her kit that not many DPS or other characters don't. Captain Cardio, aka Captain America here. I think Captain America is still pretty good. I don't know about maybe S tier, but if you run double dive, he is S tier. But by himself solo tanking with his team ups, I think he's better than Adam. I'm thinking he's strongly A tier. I want to know if he really is S tier, but if he's running double dive, then yes, he's S tier 100%. But I'm putting him almost near here-ish, like, not because I say kind of like right here, like really close to S tier, just because I think you can, a lot of people in meta and in Grandmaster, they easily just play Magneto, Bucky, Punisher. Well, I mean, Punisher's banned most of the times, but most of the times in Grandmaster, and especially in Celestial, Elsa is surprisingly not banned, and you can also run Penny, Elsa, Bucky, not Penny, Bucky, Elsa, and then run Magneto, and then run I'm sorry, not whatever. I'm so sorry. Mantis, and you can kind of counter a majority of their dive. And even if you're to run another dive, I think too, and just putting this in another perspective, I just think that he's relatively good. No, don't get me wrong. He's very, very, very strong. I think you can make the argument, and I really want someone to tell me how he's S tier in the case of this, but no, I think that he's strongly A tier, and especially since that not many people play Cap anyways, he's not really used as much, if that makes sense. Cloak and Dagger, aka the Polyluster Healer. I'm gonna put her D tier. Now, I'll say it to you guys, but actually, though, we're gonna put her S tier because, first of all, her alt comes back so fast. So she is an alt merchant. She is undiveable. She is unkillable. So alt merchant, she's fucking anti-dive. She is so easy to play. You can climb with her so easily. 99% of support players either play Cloak and Dagger, or they are the Giga Chads and they play the 1% like Ultron, Gambit, Deadpool, whatever. Most people are gonna play this support, and honestly, it's a comfort character. So, matter of fact, you don't know. I actually don't feel comfortable putting Cap now. Actually, thinking about it, no, never mind. But I just think that, like, with Cloak and Dagger, she's so fucking brain dead, and that there's no real way of really saying that she's not S tier. Like, she's so strong because of how strong her meta is, and just in general, she's just like please don't take any offense to this, but just like when you see a Cloak and Dagger main and you're playing Blade, or if you're playing just like any other DPS or tank, you're like, unless if they're on your team, but most of the time you're like, all right, yeah, okay. That not in a rude way, of course, but that's what most people think of Cloak and Dagger. I'm just telling you that. Okay, so Doctor Strange. Here's the thing about Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is very, very good if you're not playing into poke. Strange is very good, especially in solo tank, and he's really good to actually play as because he now has Perma Gambit team up. Why am I saying Gamma? Gambit. I'm saying Gamma. I'm sorry. He has Gamma team up, but the Gamma team up probably does need a buff, if I'm being honest. And the Invis team up gives you 1,000 health on your shield. So it does a lot of it has a lot of ways to block and mitigate damage. But I feel like with characters like Wolverine, but no one really plays Wolverine except me, maybe like 8 other people. or Blade. So back to what I was saying with Doctor Strange. Basically, with Doctor Strange, I feel like Doctor Strange, he's first of all, he's a very good tank, and he's one of the 4 tanks that are actually kind of good. But I don't think he's S tier. I really don't think he's S tier because, especially in this meta, he gets shut down really easily. Like, for example, like, let's see here. For example, Emma can just brawl onto Strange and just pretty much diff him. Thing with his torch team up can just and just throw hands with him. He's down. Cap can kind of counter him. Strange is more of a comfort character and kind of introduces you to the meaning of being a tank, but he's not as good as like Magneto, Emma, Venom. But I do think he is really good. But the only problem with Strange is that he gets shut down by so many fucking characters. Like Dino can just grab him. Fanta can just pull him in. Well, I mean, he can do that with like anyone, but the biggest characters of all, especially the DPS, like if you're playing Squirrel Girl, Hela, Wolf, Blade, Fist, or really just anything like that, even Hulk too, he gets just shut down so fast, and you can't really play him. Like, you can play him and climb, don't get me wrong, but he's more of a comfort character, and he's kind of the person you would only use when you're in like overtime situations. So, but I do think that he is really good, and his damage is really good. So I think he's not anywhere here, but because of how much he gets shut down, I honestly think that he's like mid A tier, just because of how much he gets shut down and just overall how much counterplays he has. He doesn't really have that much ways to actually survive in case if the supports don't look at him. And even if he does get looked at, he has one way of getting out, and that's his shift. That's the only way he gets out, which is on a 12-second cooldown, which isn't good for him. Okay, Groot, hot take. I think Groot's kind of ass. Groot is so bad because Groot, I feel like there's a million ways you can counter this motherfucker. I feel like you can play Fist, you can brawl into him, heal your tanks, and then still do percent damage. Bucky can just melt him. Wolf can just naturally hard counter by just going, flanking, and just go, watch my mouse. I can't stress this enough. Please watch my mouse. Going around. Get the wall. Done. Grab, and he's dead. Or maybe I can play Ultron. I can play... Just like, the point is, he's kind of ass in terms of being an actual good tank. Like, compared to Magneto, Emma, Strange, and just about any other tank in the game, he's not really that good. And also, he gets shut down, like, really easily, and he gets way too easily staggered, and you can pressure that guy really easily. Okay. Hawkeye, okay, here's the thing about Hawkeye. Hawkeye is pretty good. You could make the argument that Hawkeye is actually good, and maybe potentially S tier, but as far as my concerns, I haven't seen really that many Hawkeyes, and even then, if I do see a Hawkeye, it's one Hawkeye that's on YouTube and clip farms, and I don't ever see that person ever. Literally ever. I don't see any Hawkeye players anywhere at all. And even when I do, they roll the lobby. So you can kind of imagine that they do a lot of, I don't want to say burst damage, but they do a lot of, it takes skill. And most of the time, it's like, it's not really, you don't really see Hawkeye players that much. So I can't really give you like a straightforward answer like with Black Widow, Cap, Cloak and Dagger. But I do think he is very good. But the problem is it's that he's very skill expressive and he's mechanically demanding. So, but I think once you get the hang of his mechanics and shit, I think he is S tier. But I think for the most part of it and all elos and the average person isn't going to be landing killer ass headshots. And even when they do, it's only going to be like 1 or 2 headshots per game. But I think over time they would develop it. But I think just because of it, I am going to say he's kind of here for the average person. And don't get me wrong, he is really good. It's just you don't see them that much. And even when you do, there is still relatively counterplay. But I feel like even then, there's just so much stuff you can do that'll naturally stop him, like playing cover or playing burst healers, triple support, maybe not flyers, but like brawl, triple dive. Like there's so much stuff that you can do to him. But I feel like if we're not thinking of dive here, then he's up here. He's up here if nobody wants to run dive or anything. But I think just for the purpose of things and for the average person, not everyone is going to land like a fucking 9K on Hawkeye. But if you do that, he is S tier. He has potential to be S tier. But for the average person is going to be here for Hawkeye, if that makes sense. That's my opinion. I'm interested to hear what other people think of it, but take it easy, Will. Hela. Okay, so Hela, I don't even really need to say anything. Hela is S tier, and she's been fucking S tier since this game came out. And honestly, with Hela, she's oh my god, she's just straight cancer to this damn game. And I do cancer research with methotrexate, and that's a type of medication. If you're interested, comment down below and I'll explain it. But she's just so miserable playing against, and especially with her Namor team up, it's just so fucking miserable. Like, yes, sure, like the Namor team up isn't really that bad to deal with, because yes, you can kill the squids and shit, but she's just been a problem, and they've never wanted to nerf her at all. And even when they do nerf her, they only nerf, I think, maybe her long range potential. But even then, most people aren't going to be playing across the map and then two-tapping people. Like, yeah, that was a problem, but she still is a bigger issue. Not like Phoenix, but she still is a really difficult problem to deal with, just because, and especially when you're playing in Brawl, or if you're trying to dive, it's very miserable. Like someone who's champion Iron Fist now, it is a fucking miserable experience to play against Hela, or even if you're just playing as someone as like DD or Blade, it is miserable. Not Blade, but like when you're playing against any dive doesn't have like a lifesteal or any like strong melee capabilities, and yeah, you understand. Hulk. Okay, here's the thing about Hulk. I think Hulk is very good this season. Not because of the Wolf team up, because I think the Wolf team up is not, it's good. It's good. Don't get me wrong. For dive, it's really good. But the Cap team up is really, really strong, because what the Cap team up does, it scales your health that's missing, and it gives you reduced cooldown based on your health. So meaning if you are about to die, or you're about to go and enter into Bruce form, you are about to get like your shield back, which could make and break the difference of you winning or losing the game. Or in very cases, it gives you alt charge. And because of how much alt charge you get from your shield per person, you do relatively a lot of damage. Not damage, but you do a lot of shielding, and you stay alive for so long. And I think too, just with how consistent he is another case of Hawkeye. And I'm not gonna just give him like the, oh yeah, man, no, he's B tier. But like, I am gonna say that he is probably A tier. He is definitely A tier, at least A tier in my book, just because with the potential that he has and the way that his Cap team up is, if you preserve and let your Cap team up like marinate in the game, you can really be a pain in the ass to deal with. And especially if you run Mag, or if you run Emma, for example, you will stay alive for so fucking long because of how strong you are. And also, it's just like with Hulk 2, you can B-hop. I don't know if you can still B-hop with him, but you have a lot of ways to preserve yourself, because you get 2 claps, you have a shield, and then your exile that's on a 15-second cooldown upon activation, which is kind of good. And you get your alt back kind of fast. You're going to have monster form more quicker than you normally would compared to last season's. So I just think that, in my opinion, because of the team up, that singular team up, and because of how well it keeps you alive, and especially if you get the strong mechanics, he is A tier. He is A tier. I think he's high. You can make the argument that he is high B tier, at least. In my book, at least, he's at least high B tier. I think he's A tier just because of how well it is. And the average Hulk player is going to be able to at least press their C or F button, whatever their team up is, and still keep them alive, if that makes sense. So Iron Fist. All right. So before I say anything, I am a Fist main, so I understand how he works. I know that he's a brawl. I know that he's a dive. He gets 8 punches per second for his percentile damage when he blocks. And there is a little bit of little text that he has been getting a tad bit, but I feel like he gets a little bit outclassed. If in terms of his dive, he is pretty good. No. With his thing team up, it's really good, but only the enhanced version. But the White Fox team up, there's a lot of stuff that the game doesn't really tell you that you do get access to, such as having like longer range. You're able to fly out more, and pretty much season 1 Iron Fist kind of comes back a tad bit. So it's like it's more. He's definitely better than the last other seasons, and especially with his White Fox team up, no matter if it's enhanced or not, you still get the cancel animation in your ult. Not the one you do with Wolf, but where like when he powers down, he has like a second of like 3 seconds of vulnerability where like you can just kill him out before he can do anything. But normally with that, you can just like punch you can punch and you can just do a bunch of other stuff. But like the point is that Fist has a lot of, I think, potential. And especially if you're running solo tank and you're brawling into Fist is going to be more of a good experience for you. But I think considering the meta, such as Widow, Bucky just never losing ammo, maybe in this case, Luna, they can just run Luna and you just can't fucking do anything. It's miserable, trust me. Or a Cloak and Dagger. It's real miserable, I'm telling you. But I do think that not the average Iron Fist player, but I think the average Fist player, and especially since you're not having to aim like Hawkeye or you're having to focus on your jump as much, I think that Fist is a lot more of a manageable thing, but I kind of don't think he's insane. Even for my main myself, he is one of my mains. He has a little bit of a problem when it comes to his survivability a tad bit, and especially since he just gets fucking killed so fast, and all they have to do is just go one poke character, and then it's wraps. But for every other instance where you don't have to worry about poke, he is really good. So I would make the argument that he is better. On average, he is better than Hawkeye, 100%. You can make the argument that he is A tier, and I kind of want to put him in low A tier. I kind of do, just because he's really not mechanically demanding. But I think that with Fist, once you get the hang of his golden rotation and shit, he's not hard. And he's actually good. So I think I'm going to put him in I'm going to put him in A-. So yes, he is A tier. He is technically A tier, but he's just at A tier, like barely. Just because of the team ups and because of his dive, I just think. Iron Man's shit. Iron Man is terrible. Do I need to say anything? Iron Man is the worst. I don't think no, Iron Man is just ass. You're probably thinking, well, why? Because Iron Man, yes, he has his Gamma team up back, but before he had it, his Gamma team up used to do so much damage, but now that it's back, they nerfed the shit out of it. His ult isn't really that good. You don't really see him that much in really high elo. Iron Man is just countered by like fucking everything in the game. Wolf counters him. Jeff counters him. Somehow Loki can counter him. Blade can counter him. Even Thor can counter him. Elsa, White Fox, man, even Jubilee can somehow counter Iron Man. Just Iron Man is just so terrible that they need to kind of rework him a little bit, if that makes sense. Okay, so here's the thing about Jeff. When we talk about Jeff, we got to get serious real quick because there is a lot of people that play Jeff. We need to ask ourselves a really big question here. With Jeff, he has 2 team ups. He has the Jeff one, and I think he has one with Storm, if I'm not mistaken. But Jeff primarily, most Jeff players are not going to be as knowledgeable as maybe an Invis or maybe a Jubilee or a Deadpool or Gambit is, right? Am I wrong? I'm not. And Jeff gets easily hard countered by dive. With Blade, for example, all you need to do is go in, dash in, like, I'm cutting in, dash, and they're dead. Just like that. It's free food. So, and especially with Iron Fist too. Another case why Iron Fist, I think, is a little bit better on this, and especially because Iron Fist gets lock on. He can just hold down left click, and and then just shift and then delete it. So, and especially since Jeff, and especially in the Ignite series, Jeff is just so ass. And I think that especially when you get to higher elo, Jeff just gets countered so easily. And the way that Poke has just been running the lobbies too, he just gets literally just straight up curbsided. So I think that Jeff, and he may have good potential in triple heals, but he still gets outclassed even than that. So I think he's C tier because he's so bad in terms of survivability. He's really bad in double support. And yes, you may be able to make him work by moving around and stuff, but at that point, you're more or less giving the divers more value because you're not healing them. And you're leaving maybe Luna to solo heal for whatever time you're leaving away. And honestly, Jeff too. Jeff is just really only used for triple support, but even then, there's other options I would rather want, like Ultron, for instance, or Mantis. There's other fucking options I would want, and I would not say I need a Jeff in my third support slot if I were to do that. So, no offense to Jeff mains, but Jeff just is not in the best state right now, even after the team up buffs. So, Loki, okay. I think Loki, here's the thing about Loki, and I've been paying attention to the Loki buffs and nerfs. They've pretty much made it to where you can't really actually become a strategist and prioritize DPSing over healing, and making it to where you can only heal bot. But however, the clones essentially give you the exact same amount of healing as any other support would, except it's like a beam. But here's the thing: he's able to copy. He has 2 team ups. He's able to copy any person he final KOs for a brief moment. He can copy any ult he wants, and then there was one more with Mantis where his ruins get buffed. His ruins is a mini ult. So I honestly think that Loki is pretty damn good, and I don't really see that many Loki players that much at least in the meta, just because not of Moon Knight, but because of people like Bucky, Punisher, Venom, whatever. But I still think that he is definitely better than Jeff if you are smart, and the average Loki player is going to be able to, for example, if we're going to compare Jeff and Loki on average is going to be able to not only output more heals and actually strategize way better than a Jeff player does, but Loki can, if they're playing Gambit or whatever, you can just copy their Gambit ult, boom, done. Or maybe if you're using that Hela team up and you just clone yourself to be Gambit, you can beat Gambit for 8 seconds without using your ult. See why? So, and honestly, I don't see Loki that much, but he is really strong in triple support. He is one of the people I would say I want in triple support. So, and honestly too, but the only problem is with him is that, again, he gets countered by dive a little bit just because you can force his cooldowns, get out, go back in, especially with Blade 2. I think Blade can actually kill Loki through the ruins because of his anti-heal. But regardless, I think that Loki, and especially since dive is pretty strong this season, I am going to probably say that Loki is in the same case at, I don't want to say, I don't know, that I'm kind of lowballing. I think he's A to S tier just because of how you can make the argument that he is S tier, but I think that Loki is primarily middle to high A tier just because on average he has really good healing output. Don't get me wrong. I love Loki. I've been trying to learn him, and I love any Loki player that plays him. It's that when you figure out how to shoot his clones, when you look at the clone, shoot him, he's kind of just one support. And he loses that versatility that he gets, if that makes any sense. Pretty much Luna, I don't need to say anything here. Luna is the golden retriever, the golden daughter of Marvel Rivals, gets 2 broken ass team ups. You can't dive her. One of her team ups just cleanses any ult in the damn game. She has a 10-second ult. She does DPSing, self-peeled, just hell and no, I don't need to say anything here. We're moving on. But the other thing about Magic, I think after the team ups and whatever, I think he's actually, you know what, I'll let it. I think just with Magic, she is pretty good in other stuff, and I think that she has the potential to be S tier. So with that being said, we need to talk about maybe what is Magic anyways. So Magic is primarily a dive character, but she can also brawl. And she can, I don't want to say she can poke, but she can also carry very, very hard. She is a very carry potential DPS. And for example, if you ever heard the drama between Kingsman and Zaza, 18205, that's kind of why. So with that in mind, and I think nobody really plays Magic, but her dive is very good. And especially after now that she's got the Strange team up, I think she is probably S tier. But the only issue is that I'm playing it deep, but in all seriousness though, I think she is pretty good. I think she is S tier. She is definitely S tier though. I think you can make the argument that she is A tier down here, but I think she's in the very least, if she were to be A tier, she's here. But I think for the most part, she is one of the better DPS because of the carry potential. But at the same time, actually no, wait. I think she's A tier. I think she's A tier kind of because with Magic kind of actually, when I'm thinking about this, Magic kind of does get countered really hard because I'm thinking about it with Bucky and Elsa. Yeah, with Bucky and Elsa and Punisher, or who else is a poke character here? Maybe not Moon Knight, but like Namor, Cyclops, Phoenix, fucking maybe Squirrel Girl if you wanted to, or Star-Lord, definitely Star-Lord. Like, there's a lot of ways that you can kind of counter her, and all you primarily have to do is just hard focus her, and then she's gone. And she has 2 warps, and that's it. If that makes sense. So I feel like she has good team ups and stuff, but she just gets countered just so fucking hard. Magneto, best. I am willing to argue that Magneto, every time Magneto is better, the game is better. When Magneto is better, the game is better. Say it with me. When Magneto is better, the game is better. Every time Magneto is buffed, is in a degree quality of life improvements, anything that happens in Magneto, the game either drastically improves or it goes to shit. There is no in between. Magneto is, and you can argue this with me, I think Magneto is the best DPS, not, the best tank in the game, best tank in slot, meaning he is the best tank to play. And I think with Magneto, you can solo, he's the only tank that can solo tank in this game correctly. He has double shields. He has 2 really stupid fucking team ups. He has one with his sword that's on a 12-second cooldown that lasts for 8 fucking seconds. And then she has one with Emma where it duplicates himself for 5 seconds on a 15-second cooldown. And he can self-shield the clones. No, I'm putting Magneto here. So another thing about when we talk about Mantis and herself, Mantis, I think she is very strong. And Mantis, I think she's another example of yeah. I think that Mantis is Mantis is S tier just because now that she is viable in double, she is very much viable in double support. And considering that she has really, oh my voice, considering that she has like really good damage boosting, and she can insta cleanse you for your ulting, and she's actually really good. I just think that she's very strong, and I think that it's not hard to pick her up, and she's really good in triple, she's really good in double, and I think that overall that she's a very good support. So now we go back into Moon Knight. Moon Knight fell off a actual cliff. Moon Knight is probably one of the worst DPS right now in the game, aside from a couple others. But Moon Knight, he is in the same instance of where he's going here. I say Moon Knight, and this is a hot take, and argue with me if you want, but I think Moon Knight, just his damage just gets fucking outclassed. His onks don't really do that much damage. Even with the Elsa team up, he still doesn't really do that much. You have to double onk just to get any value, and even then, it turns back into a normal onk, which people can just look at, destroy. Just, and especially even too with his AoE damage, like when it like ricochets across other people, he still doesn't really do that much. And honestly, too, he gets countered by like, and especially since that Magneto and Emma and Venom are now relevant again and they're very strong, he just gets hard counter and like he's just fucking unable to play the game. Just Okay, so Namor, whatever you want to call it. Namor is one of these other characters that are kind of like Hela, and I am almost hesitant to put him in S tier a little bit, just because Namor has perma. I think let's think about this. Namor has Hela team up, and Namor has perma gamma team up, and which is on a 25-second cooldown, and it piss rays you, and he's anti-dive. He's really good in poke. He's really good in defense and offense, and you can really off angle with him. And he has a bubble, but he's really good against. He's very bad against dive sometimes. If when I mean specifically meaning you can play Blade DD and you can just shred him, just eviscerate him. But I think that in general, he's not hard to pick up, and I think that just on average, he's somewhere in A and S tier, primarily because of the Gamma and the Hela team up. If that makes any sense, so I am gonna probably say that he's somewhere. I don't think he's better than Hela, but I think that he's somewhere here. I think he is. I think he's S tier, just because of how much, and plus he gets reduced cooldowns on his squid, so he gets it back more easier. His damage got a little bit. His damage has just been consistent over the course of the game's lifespan, and considering now that he has his gamma squid back, no, he's just All right, Penny. I don't need to say anything here. Penny is literally an actual terrorist. Penny just fucking makes your life miserable. If you don't ban her, then it's just GG's go next. Penny has double nest. Penny has Wakanda shield. There's physically no counterplay to her. She is so goddamn boring. I'm telling you, she is like, you need to ban her. I don't care if you're playing a goddamn Gambit, Deadpool. I don't even care if you're playing Invis. Or, matter of fact, I don't even care if you're playing Widow or Captain Cardio. You ban Penny. Say it with me. We're going to ban Penny. Say it with me one more time. One more time. I didn't hear you. Louder. We're going to ban Penny. Nice. Say it one more time. We're going to ban Penny. Good. Next fucking character. Okay, so Psylocke, funny enough, nobody really plays her. Like, she's one of the more of the people that aren't really picked that much. But Psylocke is actually not kind of good, but she is very strong because she can kill through support ults really, really well. Specifically, she can save her solo ult for Cloak and Dagger, Invis. I think she kills through Luna. I'm trying to think here. She kills through Jubilee. Not White Fox, but White Fox isn't really a problem. Deadpool. Maybe Deadpool? Wait. I don't know, maybe. But point is, she kills through a majority of healer ults, which is pretty goddamn good. And especially since she has high damage potential in like solo ulting in like 1 or 2 people, she does a lot of like chunking damage, if that makes sense. And especially too with her other team ups that she's been getting, and honestly with her damage, her old combo is back with like the 1, 2, 3, and then the right click where like you recycle your shurikens and then you just dash or you can melee. You don't have to do that. You can just use your old combo and she kills. And honestly too, Psylocke is another instance of having high carry potential. So I do think that Psylocke, considering this, Psylocke is S tier just because of how well you can counter triple support slop. You can go up against flyers. You can dive, poke, fucking brawl, maybe peel if you can. Psylocke is one of these instances where she is so good, if that makes sense. But at the same time, as well. She also has decent counterplays, but even then, there's not enough games where I'm personally seeing where, oh my god, Psylocke is in the back line. Oh no, we need to go Thing, or no, we need to go back to Bucky, if that makes sense. So with that in mind, I'm just gonna say that Psylocke is just S tier. Rocket. Rocket, Rocket, Rocket. Rocket, man, he is so good. He's annoying. Trust me, I hate him because all you have to do, hold right click. Because someone climbed a Grandmaster with him just holding right click and doing no damage. And just, oh, this is real firepower. All right. Oh, yeah. Got that healing. Yes, sir. Popping all on. Done. Grant. Like, he's just S tier. But also, too, I just think that with Rocket, he is very strong, and he's always been strong. He gets his ult back like fucking hotcakes, and even then, he gets countered really well in the ult, but even then, you still do so much sustained healing. It's annoying. It is annoying, and he has Revival. That's on a 45-second cooldown, and can make or break the difference of you winning or losing a team fight, especially when you're getting snowballed. The Revival makes it just worse to play in, especially in season 9. Yeah, that's I don't think you need to say anything. I'm pretty sure many people agree with me on that. Okay, so now we get into other problems like Wanda. She has Perma Strange team up and Jubilee team up. Even with those team ups, I still think she's kind of ass. Just because, no, I just think she's just I think she's down here. I think she's just D tier, just because of how terrible she is. Again, she is a auto aim character, meaning there's no mechanics. There is no actual skill expression. There's nothing you can do with Scarlet Witch that tells you, oh my god, I'm so scared of Scarlet Witch, man. I gotta go main Scarlet Witch. Like, there's nothing in her kit and nothing in this game's history that makes you think, should we ban Scarlet Witch? And I guarantee you, Scarlet Witch has never been banned. I don't think she's ever been banned in ranked or even in the arcade modes like free play. I don't think she's fucking ever been banned until someone does it after this video. So I think that she's terrible. She's ass. She's miserable. She's the worst, quite frankly. But then we get into Spider-Man. So Spider-Man, you're probably thinking, Mr. Peter Parker. Peter Parker. But actually, in all seriousness, I think Peter Parker is in the same situation with Magic. And you're probably thinking, whoa, Spider-Man in A tier? Why do you say that? The Penny team up, no matter what, you're going to get Overshield with your right click, regardless if you have it or not. I'm actually not sure about that, but the point is, he gets the symbiote team up back, which is pretty damn good, and he can yank people, and I think the average Spider-Man player has a lot of mechanical skill expression, and Spider-Man is one of those characters where he's been getting a lot better of a treatment, and he has regenerative shield as well, which I also didn't think about either. And honestly, too, with Spider-Man, he can get out so easy, and honestly, he's not really that punishing compared to Daredevil. I just think that Spider-Man is he's finally not like, oh man, Spider-Man's D tier, like D tier, and he's ass if you're playing with throwing. I think Spider-Man is finally off of that D tier agenda bullshit, kind of like with Thor. I'm not putting Thor in D tier. You'll see in a minute, but yeah. Squirrel Girl, I don't need to say anything. Squirrel Girl, the face of throwing. Matter of fact, hold on, is there a way I can make another tier here? Is there another way I can make a tier here? Hold on, wait a second. No, I can't. I'm not gonna bother. But symbol of throwing. She is symbol of throwing. Do I need to say anything? She is the symbol of throwing. She's terrible. She's ass. No, I don't need to say anything else. So, okay, Star-Lord. I'm saying like a disappointed parent. But in all seriousness, no, Star-Lord, and the other thing about Star-Lord, he has two team ups, but the big one I really want to pay attention to, and I want to bring it to light, is the Groot team up. The Groot team up gives him free picks. And what that means is if you don't play the game, Star-Lord can pretty much set in a bunch of traps, run in, there you go, and he can just get free kills. Just headshot them. And because he has 50 ammo, Star-Lord can now actually, if you land every single headshot, you can actually kill Magneto. Or anyone that's 650 HP or less, which is still kind of busted. And even in dive, it leaves a lot more room of error for him. And especially since he is the same instance of Magic, BP, Widow, Hella. She is another he is another instance of where he is strong carry potential. And I think arguably he's one of the best DPS in the game. So I think he belongs in S tier. I think is Magic S tier? No. I kind of understand. Okay. Okay. So with Storm, here's the thing about Storm. Storm, I feel like, has never been able to actually catch a break. Not because of, oh man, he's so terrible and like, oh my gosh, he's so ass. But because with the nature of flyers, they are just really easy to counter, and you don't really see that many flyers. Like you see Mike Sabavu, he's the only person who plays any sort of flyer that's in Celestial, that's in Eternity. And yes, he is a very good torch player. All kudos and props to him. But when we're looking at Storm, I think she's just ass. She's ass. And even yes, you can play against cover, but people like and actually he has a gun, so he can actually just poke you. Yeah, but I think you get the point. The point is that there's just a lot of counterplay, and even then you don't really see her, and she's not. I don't want to say, oh no, she's not meta, but she's just in general, she's not really that good, and there's just a lot of counter to her. And speaking of counter, Punisher S tier. Want to know why I say Punisher is S tier? Because you can argue that he's probably the best. He's probably the DPS to play in the game because he shreds shields, he pressures the tanks. He's an alt merchant. His shotgun just one taps anything. He's anti-dive, he pokes, he brawls, he can dive if he wants. This man is just this guy is literally fucking Tony Soprano. He is the Godfather. Like, you can't stop him once he starts getting his momentum in. But all right. So the thing I said earlier about Thor, most people are gonna say, "Oh no, Thor is D tier." You wonder why Thor is D tier? Because of his ruins and because of his hammer. I am not gonna say Thor is D tier. Matter of fact, I think he's here. Fight me for it. Thor is A tier because of three big reasons. He has a revival that he gets with Hela, and Hela, by the way, isn't really that banned that much, so you can run Thor into double tank as an off tank with Magneto, or run it with Captain Cardio and still do a ton of damage, and then you can still brawl, peel, you do so much stuff, and even then with the Angela team up, you do so much stuff. I think he is really good this season, and I honestly think that he's not C, D, or B tier. I think it's a crime to say that at this point that he is D tier. He is not D tier. And I think if you get the mechanical skills enough, he's S tier. But I think on average, he's here. He is here, or in the very least, he's down here. And I think I'll put him high B tier. Maybe not A tier. I'll put him high B tier, B plus. He's really close to A tier, if that makes sense. Just one more buff and he's fucking cracked. But no, even then, I think he's still pretty good. But okay, Venom. But dude, just I don't really need to say anything. So, reason why Venom, just because he's a 2000 HP tank in your backline, doesn't fucking die. Has two ways of reviving himself. He's baseline 800 health, then it does 1400 health on him when you press your E, when it gives you overshield, and then your ult allows you to stay alive even longer. His Phoenix, he has really good team ups, and honestly, just like, if that makes sense. So same case here with Bucky. Bucky is arguably one of the best DPS in the game, rivaling with Punisher. I just think that it's just some of these are just no brainers. We have just Bucky just also team up, get 2 crits, and then you have like infinite ammo. All right. So you're probably thinking that, oh yeah, I'm champion Wolverine and I'm top 75 globally with Wolf, right? You're probably thinking, well, I'm going to put him best role above everything. Wolverine, and a lot of people like to make fun of Wolverine, called LARPerine. Wolverine is actually really good. I think that Wolverine, considering his team-ups, yes, his Cyclops team-ups is ass. I am going to say this out loud, and I can't stress this enough. His Cyclops team-up is shitty. The base effect. I found out that his enhanced team-up is actually kind of good, long term, especially if you're brawling, because it's the same instance with Blade. His sword allows you to reach more, and it gives you more length. And the Gambit team up is S tier. So therefore, he goes here. I don't think he's. Flat said that Wolverine is A tier. I don't think he's A tier. He's S tier because one, he is the answer to a lot of tanks that are really good this season. Like, he is the answer to Venom. He is the answer to Mag. He is the answer to Thing. He is the answer to Angela, maybe. He is definitely the answer to Deadpool. I really want to get to him. He's the answer to, like, pretty much just about every character that is a tank in this game. He is the reason why Groot and Thor are all, not Thor, I'm sorry, but reason why characters like this are all the way down here. So, if it makes any sense, Wolf, I think he is really good. I think I think he's arguably maybe a top 5 DPS potentially. If you wanted to, you can make an argument for it, but I don't think he's that crazy, but I think he's good enough this season to be S tier, and I think they might end up buffing him just because nobody's playing him anyways. Unfortunately, this brings me great terror and brings me great tremor, but Fanta is just C tier. Fanta, until they do something or rework his fucking kit, he's just not going to be good. He's just not going to be good because I think he has one way, and there's only like 2 people I know that really play Fanta, and even then, they're just, it's fucking miserable. I feel bad for Fanta players just because team ups are just, I don't say, oh man, they're ass, but like the team ups are just miserable to play with. Even when you have a thing with you, you just still die so goddamn fast, and you don't really do that much damage anyways. So if it makes any sense, you're kind of like just a third tank, but disguised as a DPS, if that makes sense. So I really don't, and it pains me to say it, but yeah, he's kind of just there, and I think he might be one of the lucky few who's gonna get buffed, and I hope he gets buffed. Invis, don't need to say anything there. Invis just support. Yeah, I think you guys get it. All right. Anyways, with Torch. So funny enough, Human Torch I think is actually arguably a sleeper pick. You want to know why? Because Torch, I'm trying to think here. With his with his Jubilee team up, he can pretty much use his right click 1-2 primary, and then boom, anyone that's not a 350 HP target, they're just dead. They're just dead. Simple answer to that. They're just dead. So, and honestly too, I think Torch, especially since with his E, it's on a 15-second cooldown but lasts for 5 seconds, so it's actually on a 10-second cooldown. I think that, especially if you want to play poke dive, and once you get the hang of Torch, he is really a goddamn like monster, and why I think some flyers can still be used like Ultron, for instance. So again, there's many other ways you can counter Torch, but I think just for the purpose of this and seeing his potential, because again, we don't really know the reason why these people are down here for C and D tier. They don't really have that much carry potential. They don't have DPSing. They don't have anything crazy. It's just like, so I think Torch, I'm not gonna lowball. I'm not gonna blue ball him and say that he's like B tier, but I think he's kind of like over here. I think he is in the same instance of like Iron Fist. Like, he is very, very good once you get the hang of him, and I think that his damage, he's just good. And I think that looking at this actual aspect of things, he is really good in terms of his poke, and he out damages characters like Elsa and Bucky. I'm not gonna waste y'all's time. Emma is just there, but Thing. Here's the thing about Thing. So the Thing has 2 really good team ups. His Torch allows you to brawl and gives you overshield back faster, and he has another one. He has the Perma Invis team up that gives you regenerative shield as fast as fuck at exactly half HP or below it, and it charges you back like really quickly. So, and honestly too, just because Thing, it has been really good this season, and he's played in all elos. He's played in low elo, he's played in mid elo, and yes, I even see him played in high elo. I see this man in Celestial and Grandmaster Eternity. I see this man everywhere. This man is all over the place. This man is in New York. This man's in Cologne, Germany. This man, I don't know where that came from. This man is in Detroit. Then this man's back in Oklahoma. This man's all over the place, and I think you get the idea. And I think he has a lot of burst damage, and he's a really good off tank as well. And he's not a main tank, but he's a really good off tank. And honestly, too, especially for brawling with Wolverine or with Fist, he's really good to brawl into. And he's he's very good against anti-dive. And he's one of the answers to people like Black Panther. Where's the other dive? People like Magic, Spider-Man, or even Torch to all flyers. He counters like a quarter of like the roster, and maybe even counters Blade if you wanted to argue, but I don't really think he does. But I think just because of that, he goes in S tier, and there is a lot of reasons, and there's many things that you can think about that comes to mind, which is availability heuristics if you don't know about psychology. But that's kind of what it is. This thing is just he's really good in a lot of things. He stops and shuts down dive a majority of the time, and he just like stops a lot of things. And he's just in general like Kratos. So now we get into other characters I normally play. Sometimes I play Ultron, Blade, and I'm gonna try not to be biased when I say this. Ultron in the first 24 hours, if Ultron stayed the same in the first 24 hours of the season, if the way that he was for the first 24 hours of the game stayed as was the entire season, I would say he's best healer in the game. No contest, better than Gambit. But what happened after they launched an immediate emergency patch notes, which, let me tell you, they nerfed Ultron and Mantis and Rocket. But for some reason, they wanted to buff Gambit, Invis, and Luna. They buffed the 3 most annoying fucking supports in the game in the first 24 hours of launch for Season 9. Do you know how mad and how pissed off a lot of people were, myself included? It was really annoying. But anyways, though, but I'm not going to be like that because I don't know why it suddenly got so serious. But like, all serious though, I think that even though, yes, he is still kind of like in this hellhole of his team up being nerfed severely, and that's kind of what made him so well, I still think there is a little bit of salvage that you can still get from him. I certainly don't think he's like unplayable or really or miserable to play with. I think that he's kind of in the lines of here. I would say he's in the instance of Adam. He's mid A tier. So I think that, and especially with another instance like with Loki, if you're running double support, you can honestly just pocket one of the supports and pocket one of the DPS, and you can just right click, spam your right click, boom, give everyone, not everyone, but that specific person damage boost for 5 seconds, and then use your team up with Penny, and then get not team up, but like damage buff on everyone for like 5 seconds, and then they just shred. So I think just because of that, I think he is still relatively good. It's just that with the drones, they need to buff that fucking team up. I don't know what was the purpose of nerfing that team up. That was so pointless, and honestly, wasn't even a problem anyway. So, yeah. Now, okay, Blade. I play Blade, so Blade is very good in dive. Blade is a very good dive, and he's a good brawl. I still think he's still good even after this season, and you can still get a lot of value out of Blade. And I think that with his Moon Knight team up and his Cap team up, his ass, the base one, unless you have Captain Cardio in your team, but even then, it's just not really used. But with Blade, I still think that he's actually kind of good. I think he's in the instance, he's almost on the verge of here, but I don't think he's like that crazy. But in low elo, he is a god. Low elo, he's a god. But I think with Blade, I think he's A tier. There's a reason I am saying this. It's because his healing, his life steal, for instance, he gets his. You can easily use your F ability, like your Moon Knight team up. You can use your E, shift, and get instantly 425 health in backline or in brawl, and you live for so fucking long, no matter what you're playing. And even when you are playing the game, for instance, you can still like right click or left shift into tanks and give them anti-heal I'm cutting in, and you just demolish them. So I think that, again, he is in the same instance of Spider-Man, Magic, Ultron, and Atom. They all have potential to be S tier. It's that there are core things that still kind of stop them, like his gun is still kind of a problem. Yes, I can use his gun, and I do use it a lot. It's just that it's miserable and it's a little bit inconsistent still, it feels like. And even with other things as well, and especially considering the meta, a lot of people are going to be playing Poke. A lot of people, especially, are going to be playing Mag and Emma, which are very terrible, which Blade's terrible into. So I think, but even though he is terrible in those things, I still think he's kind of good, just because you can still play dive into Brawl, like kind of how Iron Fist does, if that makes sense. So now we get into characters like Phoenix. So Phoenix, surprisingly enough, I think, I don't want to say automatically Phoenix is S tier because of Poke, but I do want to say that Phoenix is pretty good. And honestly, she is kind of annoying because of the team up she gets. And again, she is one of those characters where she does have strong close range combat. But other than that, though, I don't want to, I'm not putting her in S tier, kind of because you can still pretty much brawl her, and she is susceptible to dive, very susceptible. So you can run dive, and then she's kind of fucked, if that makes sense. So, and especially too, considering that Fist, Blade, Venom, and maybe other dive heroes like DD are really good this season, I think that you can honestly just fucking tremble her. So I think that she is kind of in the instance of kind of like right here, if that makes sense, because she does counter these two and puts pressure on these guys, but she's not like that crazy, if that makes sense. Okay, so here's the thing about Angela. Okay, so the thing about Angela, and this is something that I think not many people tend to actually realize, but I think Angela, I don't want to say, oh no, she's terrible, but I don't think she's really that good. There's a reason why I do say this. Her one team up, the Loki team up, or like where like you can use your clone, it is good at first, but that's really only going to be useful in the first season or two. So kind of after the next couple of seasons, she's kind of going to just be in the same spot she was, I think, these last couple of seasons. She's just not really that good in terms of how strong she is. She has, don't get me wrong, she has decent potential. It's just that she's not, she's just not really that good in terms of anything. Like, she gets countered in just about everything. She's very she's very easy to punish. And honestly, too, her ult is just so fucking counterable. But if you were to pair with other dives, then she's somewhat decent. But even then, she gets outclassed by other dive characters like Fist, Blade, Venom, maybe even DD. But the point, and honestly, too, especially since the meta too, like with Punisher, Bucky, Poke, it's just like she just gets actually like incinerated. So because of that, I'm not gonna say no, she's not playable, but I'm saying she is in the instance of like Jeff and Gru. Like, yes, you can play them, but it's just that they're just miserable. I'm not gonna waste your time. Gambit is just right here. Gambit is just literally right there, if that makes sense. So again, DD, I think DD is actually still pretty good because with her, why am I saying her? With DD's combo, like your 1-2 melee weave, and then you can use your E, and you can use your throw, and then melee again, and then right click. What you can pretty much do is, from an actual standpoint, you are able to pretty much bring back not prime DD, but you can bring back pretty strong variations of other dives. And again, because dive is so strong and the only real answer to it is brawl or poke, I still think DD is in the same instance of, and again, I think DD is in the same instance of Blade, Magic, and Spider-Man. I don't think DD is S tier, and there is a very good reason why. It's because of Mag and Emma. Mag and Emma, specifically Emma. Emma can just, if they're getting dove, like supports, you be like, Emma, oh my god, no, DD is hurting me. Ow, ow, help me. Cloak and Dagger can just bubble. Luna can just use her cleanse. And then just Emma can just come in like, exquisite. Chokehold him. And yes, even though he can parry and use Iron Fist team up and the Widow team up, I still just think that in the long run, it doesn't really help you. Like, yes, you can climb with him very, very well. And he has, don't get me wrong, he has very good climb potential. And he is a little bit better than he was last season. But because of how many nerfs he's been getting, I think they kind of gutted him. But he still has regenerative shields. So take it as you will. But DD can still be really hard countered again by Thing. He can be hard countered by Bucky, Punisher, Widow, surprisingly, Penny. These two, that makes sense. But yeah, I do think though, I'm not gonna say, oh no, DD's B tier. I think he is in the instance of kind of like right here. He is in the instance between these four, so he is in the instance of like all it takes is like kind of like one buff for DD to go back to S tier. So yeah. All right. So here's the thing about Rogue. I think with Rogue, the big problem about Rogue is that she is very good because her Gambit team up makes her S tier. Now she has it permanently. You're probably thinking, well, are you going to put her S tier? The thing is about Rogue, I think Rogue, she has still a lot of counter to her. And in many cases, she is a 5-star tank difficulty character. So meaning she is the hard. I don't want to say she is the hardest. I think Hulk is harder, but pause. But Rogue is a really difficult tank to get used to. And I think that she is primarily, again, a more of a dive tank-ish. She can brawl, but she's more of a dive tank. I feel like she gets shut down by a lot of things. Like, for example, Blade can shut her down. Wolverine can shut her down. Thing can shut her down. Widow can shut her down. Penny, Rocket, and back. If she's diving backline, you can just, and then just get away, if that makes sense. And even then, the job that she does, she kind of gets outclassed by Sword for Magneto. So it's just, but I do think that she is still somewhat viable. I think she's kind of here in B tier. She's like high B tier, low A tier, kind of like where this is. Elsa, I don't need to say anything. Elsa is crazy, cracked, 2 broken ass team ups. I don't need to say anything. All right. So because of Deadpool, the way that Deadpool works, it's kind of weird. But with Deadpool, he primarily has 3 roles. He has support, duelist, and tank. And the way that I am going to evaluate him is just all 3 of them combined. And primarily his base team ups, no matter if you have them enhanced or not, his DPS and tank is still good. And his tank form got buffed. His tank variation got really, really strong because of his gun form. And his E got a little bit of a buff, if that makes sense. So, and honestly, too, looking at this as well, I think Deadpool is still pretty damn good, and especially with the Hela team up where you can Pierce as a tank or Pierce heal as a support, that puts bars on Miles. And even then with Deadpool is one of the more funner characters, and you can just heal at your own discretion. So, and especially since it's for me, because I have Lord Deadpool and I played that man a lot, and I have a lot, and I'm trying to get him the champion soon after I get Blade. But the point is, it's that Deadpool, he is another I don't want to say he is another instance of like Spider-Man or whatever, but he is pretty good, is what I'm going to say. He is very strong, and he is very capable. I am putting him in like low A tier. I'm putting him in low A tier just because with Tank Pool, the problem with Tank Pool is that he still kind of gets shut down by, not by the poke necessarily, but by Brawl, meaning by Emma, by Mag, Fist, Strange. He gets shut down by a lot of the main tanks, and especially the main DPS like Bucky. He gets shut down pretty hard, and he gets pressured like hotcakes. But I still think Deadpool is pretty strong, if that makes sense. And honestly, I think he still is pretty good, especially his tank form, which is why he's kind of in A tier. White Fox hot take. I think White Fox is ass because White Fox doesn't do anything. Okay, listen to me before you start flaying me, and Black Cat is going in S tier because of her dive. listen to me when I say this. Listen to me. Listen to the words that I'm about to say, because I can't stress this enough. White Fox is very terrible because A, her healing output is bad. Her healing output compared to just about every other support in the game, she's worse. I'm willing to say that she's worse than Jeff, because the only thing that she was really good at was anti-dive. Her base healing is so ass. She does not produce healing like Deadpool, and even then, she doesn't have sustained healing like Ultron, Adam, or even Loki, not in that way, but like, or even like with Deadpool or Jeff, for instance. There's just no way of me strongly saying that, oh yeah, no, White Fox is S tier. I can't say that even for C tier, because she just gets countered so hard, especially since you can solo dive Blade, and Blade just takes care of her just like nothing. Even with Fist, I'm fucking telling you, even you can make the argument that even Fist somehow beats White Fox. And honestly, that's the only reason why White Fox is kind of good, or even in any case decent, is her anti-dive. And even that, her alt gets really easily countered. And just in general, she's just, I'm willing to say that she's probably the worst strategist. No offense, but she's the worst strategist in my opinion, because she does not get any sorts of healing done. She does not get any sort of long-term sustain. And just in general, her alt gets countered really hard. And even in triple support, she's just terrible, if that makes sense. Cyclops, I think, okay, here's the thing about Cyclops. Cyclops is not here anymore, nor is he here. But he's not anywhere here either. I think Cyclops is B tier, kind of just because Cyclops, he got strongly nerfed, but the team ups kind of brought him back up. But even then, I still think with Cyclops, he is kind of just, again, another instance of Phoenix. Just he doesn't really have that much strong sustain, if that makes sense. And honestly, too, he's another instance of Hawkeye. If you do have good aim, if you do have the mechanics to, to be strong and actually demonstrate skill expression, then yeah, no, then Cyclops is going to be S tier. But like, same thing goes for maybe Squirrel Girl, maybe, but no, maybe not. But just the point is that with Cyclops is kind of fell off a cliff because of how like stupidly busted he was. So if it makes any sense too, and yeah, even though he does have a team up, he's an anchor team up for Wolf, I still think that Cyclops doesn't really get the job done. And honestly, he gets outclassed by like about every other poke in the game, and his job is kind of done for him, aside from Moon Knight and maybe Squirrel Girl, if that makes sense. So the last two people, and more of the recent people that we've been getting, Dino and Jubilee. So with Dino, here's the thing about Dino. I think that with Dino is somewhat good, but I think just because with Dino and his nature, you don't really see that many Dino players. I am going to be honest. He gets kind of like, I don't want to say he gets like outclassed and like, oh no, he's so unplayable. But I am going to be honest, he does get outclassed by a lot of tanks in the game, but he is still good. He is a good tank. Don't get me wrong. He is really good to stop dive, for instance. And if you are playing Brawl with Wolf, in this instance, he's really good to use in Brawl. But I think that he just dies so fast. Like, he has no survivability of any means, and his bleed state kind of got nerfed to the ground. So and honestly, after he came out, he got literally gutted. And honestly, even though yeah, he has like machine guns right next to him and it applies bleed itself, I honestly think that it doesn't really do that much, if that makes sense. And I honestly just think that he's more of the bordering issue, like with Rogue and Thor. Like, they have potential to be like good. It's just that it's hard to make a concrete decision on, is he S tier, is he A tier, just because he just dies so fucking quick, and that you can't really do much. But his other stuff is actually kind of good, which is why he's kind of like mid B tier. Now, all right, so the last character, and my gosh, I am getting so tired, but the last character of the day or the season is Jubilee. Jubilee primarily is going to be in the same instance as maybe Ultron potentially, but the issue is it's that she actually has ways to keep herself in burst and sustain. So the thing about Jubilee is that she's more of the harder strategist to use because you have the power to switch from sustained healing with your right click and with your firework balls to your like laser piss machine, and also to she doesn't really have her hood team up yet, so we don't really know what her enhanced version looks like. I'm very sure that it's gonna look ridiculous. I think she might go up a tier, but because I kind of really don't know, like how well she is without it, like with lifesteal, I am gonna put her in B tier. But and this brings me back to my predictions, but I think that with the enhanced team up, and she might get a buff, probably she'll probably end up here or here in season 9.5 after they do their first patch notes. But yeah, so this is the my quote unquote tier list for season 9 at least, and I am predicting that Magneto is still going to be here. Like a majority of these characters will probably stay the same, except maybe everyone down here it will may or may not get buffed. I think that Wolverine potentially might get buffed just because nobody plays him, and potentially they might actually keep Widow the same, and they might nerf Gambit and buff Ultron. So it is very likely that Ultron could be right here, right next to Gambit, and they might nerf him. But I don't know, man. We gotta blame Zeong. We gotta blame Zeong if Luna gets 8 more legendaries and she just is the most busted support in the game. But yeah, pretty much my prediction is that I am pretty much gonna say that a majority of these guys are going to stay the same, or might like maybe Iron Man, or I don't want to say not. I think there's that a majority of the characters in season 9.5 will most likely stay the same, especially people like Groot, Fanta, Rogue, maybe not Thor, but Strange. Strange might become officially S tier because of his Gamma team up, and honestly, with the Invis team up and his damage being kind of good. Honestly, matter of fact, I take back him being A tier, but just put him in S tier. I actually take that back. I'm kind of fucking stupid. I take that back for Strange being A tier. No, he is S tier. He is S tier. But yeah, so pretty much the way that, again, just to remind you guys, if you've really watched all the way this far, the way that I evaluate everyone and why some characters are in the tier lists that they are, it's because of the meta currently in high elo, so meaning poke and brawl, and primarily poke. How well are they individually, their team ups, and overall their actual potential? So, and I think too that a lot of these characters could just actually, all of them could be S tier technically, but at the end of the day, I think that this is probably where a lot of our actual guys may stand for now. I think that what they'll probably end up doing, if they do end up buffing Ultron, Adam could become S tier, and Ultron could become strongly high A tier, low S tier. But yeah, I am going to be live streaming in a couple hours. So when this video comes out, by the time you see this video come out, you will probably see me live streaming. So matter of fact, as this video is ending, you'll probably see a notification coming up in a minute that will show you that I am live streaming, which should come up right about now. Go click on that and go watch my live stream if you'd like. If not, I hope you guys enjoy this video. I am going to be playing ranked on Wolverine, or in the very least, I am going to be doing like a Q&A for those who are interested, for those in Wolverine or just in general how to play the game, whatever. But other than that, though, guys, I'm your host, Master Yeet, or TTV Yeet, I should say, but just call me Yeet. I'm your host, Yeet. I'll catch you guys next one. See ya.